What are we in week 13? I know that because the Raiders aren't a bye this week. That's the only reason why that I know that. So week 13, we got about 5 weeks left already. We finally got some divisions forming, scenarios forming, and like we said, for these last about 2 weeks, this is the kind of the time of year where we start to kind of separate the teams. Even though this year it's a little more open, like we've been talking about, because like we were just talking about before we got on this, there's a lot of teams. You look at the record, like they're good teams, but they're not as like good as their record shows. Like for example, Jacksonville, Miami, like they're good teams, but they're not as good as the record shows, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so this year I feel like there's a lot of top heavy. So like four
Yeah,
really, really good teams. The rest of the teams are just mediocre at best, honestly.
right,
Like mid. All the teams are really mid, really.
right.
Um they're just beating up on each other, but in reality, we only know like the AFC, we know Chiefs, maybe Chiefs look kind of rollable too, but we know Chiefs and that's
Chiefs,
that's
yeah.
yeah,
Big,
Chiefs. And then
big.
we know the NFC, we got 49ers and Eagles. That's decided. This is gonna be decided this week. Hopefully, hopefully it's gonna be a good game. Pretty sure the Niners need some get back from last year.
Yeah.
But we'll
I mean, the thing with that game, I mean, I honestly think whoever wins that game, because they're going to meet in the NFC Championship, most likely again. All right, that's probably going to happen again. The only other team I could see going is, uh, I'm not sure if I want to say it, but Dallas. Like that's like outside of those two, it's them. So but I personally think whoever wins that game will lose in the NFC Championship game because it's hard to beat a team twice, no matter who you are.
Yeah, unless you have the number, but those teams are good, and I feel like it's gonna be is that the Eagles, but then I feel like the 49ers have a little get back because they didn't have Purdy last year. Purdy's here this year. Hopefully he don't get hurt again, and we have a
Yeah.
good game.
No, that game will definitely be decided by quarterback play for sure. Like I mean, that's how most games are technically decided. But I mean, so as of this year, there's a lot of good defenses this year. Like I don't know if it's just me, but this year I noticed there's more defenses, like more defensive games this year, if that makes sense. But I think this game will actually be decided by like quarterback play. And like and I don't mean like throwing for like 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, but not turning the ball over basically. Manage the game. Don't turn the ball over because if any of these teams turn the ball over, it's not going to be a good look for either team just because of
Yeah.
how stacked both of these rosters are. That's probably going to decide who's the NFC champion. But like I said, I personally think that whoever wins this game, I don't care who has home field, who doesn't, they'll split in the NFC championship game. I personally think that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you hear what Tom Brady said about mediocre
I
quarterbacks? How
mean,
do you feel about that?
I was gonna bring that up when you were talking about the mediocrity on teams. I mean, this year, I mean, yeah, because I mean, for example, like look at just like we're talking about Miami and Jacksonville, Tua and T-Law. They're better than most quarterbacks in the league. Don't get me wrong. Like T-Law's a generational quarterback. Tua's finally, he's healthy. But when they play against good teams, specifically like good defenses, they struggle. Like last weekend, they played against the Jets. They did beat them 31-17, I believe. But Tua only had like 200 yards and he threw a pick. He only got me like 11 fantasy points. So
I feel like now it's like all the veteran quarterbacks are gone. That's why
yeah,
the game is getting like literally the oldest quarterback have Aaron Rodgers. But other than that, it's now Aaron Russell Wilson. That's surprisingly all the rest of the quarterbacks are young or rookies or second year, third year players, and that's why I feel like it dropped off. Now, when you said the
yeah,
defense are taking over, I don't think it's the defense. I just think the offense is just
that's
struggling.
who I didn't think about that. That is very true. And that's the thing too. Like we're getting just like we were talking about at the beginning of the year, there's the new generation of the young quarterbacks, good and bad. Because like you said, I think the oldest quarterback, like that would be a starter is yeah, has to be Aaron. And then I think right after that, it's like probably like Derek Carr.
It's Russell Wilson.
It's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I think the oldest quarterbacks. It's like Stafford, Russ, Carr, and Rodgers.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Everybody else,
Carr's not even that old. He's only 32, 33.
yeah,
So yeah, and then everyone else is like
newer.
27 and younger. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but no, yeah. Back to your question. Like I kind of since you brought it up, I kind of agree with what you're saying. I think it's a mix of both because at the same time the quarterbacks are getting more athletic and more talented if that makes sense too. But it could be too that they are younger and they're learning a little more because like I said, there's not many veterans that are starting no more, so that could be a factor too in being mediocre. So
Yes. So for the games this week, you see the matchups. Like it's not really two elite quarterbacks going head to head like at all.
besides, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think because being Purdy's elite, I mean, I think
Okay,
being
that's 2 years. No, that does not make you elite.
so I mean, he's not like a top five quarterback, but he's playing very well. Granted, if he was put if if that same situation happened to him on all the other 31 teams, this wouldn't have happened. It's because of the system. I think that. But I mean, yeah, I mean that's probably the most elite matchup. And Hurts is still a top. I think he's top three still this year. I think. Yeah, yeah,
That'd
yeah,
be MVP hurts.
yeah. I mean, if Mahomes receivers could catch the damn ball, he'd be Mahomes. Or
Yep,
I mean, he'd be MVP.
definitely.
So
But since I mean, each his
yeah.
own, I guess, on that one. What about these firings? We got the second head coach, Frank Wright.
Kind of like 50-50 about that because it's not like really his fault. I mean, the Panthers have one of the worst O lines and they have a rookie quarterback in, and his number one receiver's like croaking. So he's old.
You, you think the GM should have got fired? Because the GM's still good.
I don't think anyone should have gotten fired. They should just roll with it.
Yeah, this is like the second year in a row Taffer fired his head coach, which is kind of crazy. The owner of the Panthers. I
He's a
think he's getting impatient, but at the same time, is I don't know who made the decision on Bryce Young over Stroud, but I'm pretty sure that had an effect on it too.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I honestly thought they were going to trade Shark because I don't because you probably you remember they were like in love with them in shock and they made the big trade and everyone was expecting them to take them and then last second they said no, we want Bryce. Which at the time, I mean, you could make an argument to Bryce being better, but at the same time, CJ Stroud just played the game of his life against Georgia, right? Yeah, he had the best game of
Yeah,
his career against Georgia.
yeah, and he's been looking pretty good. But I don't know if that played into the decision over. But I feel like he needs to get something stable. He's ruining the franchise right now.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing too. I have noticed that teams like said even with I mean this is a player situation, but even the Cardinals with Kyler Murray and Josh Rosen, like I mean would Josh Rosen would he have been good? I don't know because he literally started 1 year on the Cardinals and then they drafted Kyler Murray the year after and then said bye. So it's kind of like you can't get too impatient, but you also can't wait too long either because then it's too late.
I
So
mean, yeah, the quarterbacks though, but it's like a crapshoot for quarterback. Like even the number
right,
one pick, like you see, Bryce Young's number one pick, but Stroud's better. Like you don't
yeah.
know how it's gonna end up. Trey Lance, not Trey Young. Trey
I
Lance
was
was picked early on too, but he ended up being worst quarterback in that draft. So it's
That's what
kind of like,
I was literally just about to say that. But granted, they did give him a couple years too. He did start. He started his second year. He got hurt,
yeah,
and then he got a shot again, and then he got hurt. So that's understandable. And
it's
Brock
too,
showed and Brock
it's
showed
only two
why.
years though.
Right. But he was getting hurt, and they got Brock for less. Granted, they did trade like all their picks for Trey Lance. So that's what's kind of like, what are you guys doing? But at the same time, I mean, they thought it was time to go. It's worked out so far, and surprisingly, not having those first round picks hasn't messed them up yet, which is crazy. And they're still trading picks. Like a couple weeks ago, they got Chase Young, so which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna affect them later, but they're just trying to get on the Super
Well,
Bowl window they have right now.
they're in win now. It's
Yeah,
it's 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 literally win this year because Chase Young's gonna be free agent. Nick Bosa's taking all the salary cap. Kittle's not getting younger. Debo's contract's up soon again. I think they extended McCaffrey though.
yeah, he's on running back money though. Oh no, he
Right.
actually got the last big check.
The last big check, which is well deserved. He's one of the only running backs that deserves a big contract. I mean, it's like him. I think Kamara does when he's healthy. Henry did, but he's getting old now. It's honestly just like McCaffrey, Barkley, and Kamara. Those three guys like deserve big contracts, but everyone else can go whine and cry. Oh, and Eckler too, but he probably won't get it. I saw something he might sign with the Chiefs.
We'll see. We'll
That's
see on that one.
yeah. Well, because I was looking at a Bleacher Report this morning, and they had some running back market thing. But anyways, and they had Jacobs going to the freaking Lions. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't know
I
about
was
that
like,
one.
and I was like, what is going on? So, they just make stuff up so people can comment and they can get their views and their money. But anyways, like we were saying, yeah, there's no really elite quarterback matchup. Back to what you were saying. The most elite matchup, like with both quarterbacks being good, I guess it's I guess the Broncos and Texans or the 49ers and Eagles.
I mean, I know. I mean, I know that, but I don't think Purdy's elite. That's what I'm saying. Like
No, I
he's
mean,
good.
yeah,
We
yeah,
know system, but I don't think he's elite.
yeah. I mean, he's a top like at worst like a top 12 quarterback. He can't be
Because
no lower. Can't be no lower than that. He can't be no worse than 12 QBs in the league. I mean, he's good still. Like you got to be good to be in the NFL. But like I said, if he gets put in any other system, it's not working.
yeah.
So
So now I'm gonna like name you a quarterback, and you let me know if they're gonna be on the team next year or not.
okay,
Right. Daniel Jones.
no, I heard
They
they're I
gave him
I
a
heard they're
contract.
actually I heard they're actually gonna to they're looking to drop the quarterback in the first round already.
They paid him. They
So
just paid him. Like I don't know.
they'll have to cut him. I mean, I think his contract's team friendly, but the fact that they paid him before Saquon is insane to me. But anyway, let's continue your list.
Oh, I know the answer. Mac Jones.
Yes, I think he will be a Patriot next year.
What? You think they get rid of Belichick and keep him?
Yeah, but I think they'll keep Mac Jones as a backup though, because I think, uh, I mean, yeah, I mean he might start again, but he might be like a bridge quarterback, and then they'll unless they get Caleb, that's the only way Mac Jones will be on the team. If they get Caleb, Drake May, one of those two, then Mac Jones won't be on the Patriots. But if they don't, then they'll stick with them just to have some stability, even though it's been a shit show for them this year.
What about Derek Carr? Will he stick in New Orleans next year or no?
Mm, that's tough because their situation, it's not his fault, but he's not the solution either. That's the thing. Like, because they drive downfield and then they get like past it, like right past the 50, and then they'll go 3 and out, and then they want to get a field goal. But then there's possessions where they have guys wide open, but his line can't block. And I think he tries to do too much too, because he threw a crazy pick six that he shouldn't even throw last week. You were watching the game probably. It was your Falcons.
Yeah, I thought
So
watching. He threw it right. He did a good job.
no. He threw it. Yeah, no, yeah. That was a terrible read, actually. I don't know what I'm saying. No, that was a bad read. But back to your question. It depends on who they replace him with, because I don't think Jameis is the answer either.
Do they have an answer?
I mean, they're in
Because
cap
like we
hell.
only a few quarterbacks you can get in the draft, and maybe none
Yeah.
of them could be that good. So I don't know.
And the problem is they're in a cap hell too, and no one's getting younger either. That's
Yeah.
the other thing. So, but I'm not gonna say not sure. I'll go with no. They're gonna cut him.
Right. What
And then
about Justin Fields?
yes, he'll be a bear.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not, yeah, it's not, yeah. If they need to give him a shot with the coach not named Eberflus. Just get him a new staff. I mean, I could see Ben Johnson wanting to go there from the Lions offensive coordinator, because he was looking for a head coaching job this year, but he said, you know what, I'll stay for one more year. And I think I know why he did that. Because they had a young offense, because he only signed a 1 year contract to stay. Because they had a better offense than last year. And they were a good offense last year too. I think they have the second offense throughout the whole year, which is crazy because they were not that good. Actually, their offense was good the whole year. They just didn't have a defense, but they kind of fixed it towards the end of the year. But anyways, um, I think the Bears uh keep Fields, but they have to get him a coaching staff that will work with them and not be stupid. But we'll see. We'll see. So yes, Fields will be a Bear.
Okay. What about Kirk Cousins? Will he be a Viking? Do you think?
Yes, but he has to be willing to take a contract way less than what he was getting before, because that's a lot of money he was getting. And he's not bad, but number one, he's getting older. He's 35 now, like 34, 35. Number two, at this age, having an injury like that is bad. And number three, they got the best receiver in football that's going to want a contract soon. And they're not going to be able to pay both of them because they already got Daniel Hunter. He's on a fat one too.
Yeah, but they can't
So
keep JJ happy without a quarterback. So I don't know what they're gonna do.
true. But I think Kirk will be a Viking. But I mean, he's still going to get paid like 20 plus million, but it won't be no 40 million a year. I can tell you that. They better not give him that contract. And it'll only be for 1 year too, probably. It's going to be kind of like what LeBron's doing, where he signs like, a year or a couple years and then kind of keeps signing it and then looks for better like offers and stuff. But anyways, he'll be a Viking. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's quarterback I can think of right now. Pretty sure it's gonna be more because a lot of mid quarterbacks this year. But Jordan Love, they say they're the 4-game losing streak. He had 2 good games
He did.
recently.
He did. He
Do
balled
they
out
keep
last
him?
weekend. He
Yeah,
balled out last weekend.
yep.
I think you have to. I mean, do because they're kind of in the situation to where like they're not going to be bad enough to have a top like 5 pick, but they're not going to be good enough to where they're like in win now mode and they could like trade up for a quarterback. That's the thing. So it's kind of like one of those things where like they could move on from him, but they also can't. So I'm gonna say they give him 1 more year, and I could see them trying to trade for like a receiver or trying to like bring someone in that's better than Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, and Jalen Reed. Because they have a good team on paper. Their defense is always like pretty solid. Their O line's always good. They just need. I just think they need that wide receiver to kind of take them to the next level because they had him, but he didn't want to play with him. So and now he's stuck with a rookie. But so we'll
uh,
see. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because he's talented. He's really talented. But at the same time, I mean, he did get to sit behind. I mean, a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. For what 2 years, right?
I think it's 3. I think it was 3.
Three
Was it
three
3?
years.
Pretty sure it was 3 years.
Well, either it was 2 or 3. And I know he got his first start against Casey and struggled really bad, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they got to give him one more year, and if they don't, then you got to move on from him because it's only because this is his first season starting, his first entire season starting, and it's different than playing like a couple games because your quarterback got hurt. It's very different. So we'll have to see. It's gonna be a QB carousel again, probably like 2 off seasons ago. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's always something new with the quarterbacks. I mean, the Colts thought they were gonna. I mean, I honestly thought the Colts were gonna make a deep playoff run when they brought Matt Ryan in. I thought they were because the year before they had Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers, honestly, they were my dark horse to go to the Super Bowl, and they barely lost to the. I forgot who they lost to in the playoffs, but they lost to. I think it was Baltimore.
Yeah,
Oh
there's
no,
Ravens too.
so it was either Baltimore or Buffalo. It was one of those two.
I think it was Baltimore. I think it was Baltimore.
Baltimore. One of
I
them,
can
but
see
anyways, one of them barely beat the Colts, and I thought the Colts were going to go far, and Philip was going to have a chance of getting his first ring, but that didn't happen. So,
it. All right.
but so
Steelers. Let's talk about the Steelers now. 2 things happened in that game. 400 yards, Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry,
first
Kenny
game
Pickett. The
without
offense. Sorry, the offense.
first
400
game without
yards.
Matt Canada. Yeah,
We
I
have
mean,
Deontay Johnson not blocking and not getting a fumble. I don't know what's up with Steelers receivers, but they some divas over there. Like,
well, I know Pickens is frustrated. Because he made some comment at the beginning of the season when they were kind of like, or like towards the middle. So I don't know if you saw, but he was sitting on the bench. He was like, "I love being here. I love being a Steeler, but this is not it." He said that on the bench, and then I heard something about because Deontay and someone got into a fight after the game. So someone probably said something to him, and he was frustrated. He wasn't getting the ball probably because I saw that clip where he was just walking when the run play was going right by him. He was just walking. He didn't care.
yeah, he said he didn't see it. It's like you don't see a guy with the ball running away. That was kind of
Yeah, no, yeah, that's ridiculous. But I also saw he got into a fight with someone like right after the game, and they had to split the teammates. I think it was.
Mika Fitzpatrick.
Oh, that's who it was. Yeah. They got into a fight. So, which I don't know why. I mean, you're on the same team. You guys are on opposite sides of the ball, but there's probably more to it. So, but they still won't make playoffs. So I don't care. Matt Canada is not your coordinator no more. They're not making playoffs because Pickett, it's gonna sell somehow. So
They still got a winning record too. That's crazy.
yeah, I mean that division's competitive still. Even with the Bengals, they're probably not making playoffs no more. But even with the Bengals, I mean the Browns could. The Browns are still in run for that division, but they're not gonna win it though. Baltimore's got that on lock now. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's still competitive because the one thing all those teams have in common, they all have a defense. All three of them, they all have one healthy, which they are all healthy. They all have elite defenses. All three of them, all top 10 too, which is crazy. So that gives them a chance.
How do you think the Browns gonna finish up without Deshaun?
Uh, at best, I can see them being like a 7 seed because it's similar to the Jets. Like DTR is very like that situation is very different from what the Jets are going through because Zach Wilson's been in the league. This is year 3 and he's still playing like he's a rookie. But there's a lot. I mean, you watch the Jets. There's only so much your defense can do, and there are going to be our games where your defense wins you the game, but that's not a formula to win a ring or make the playoffs. It's not.
You
You
think
gotta.
Aaron Rodgers can't save him? He's back at practice.
He could. I mean, the fact that he's already practicing again, he sold his soul or something. 'Cause that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous that he's back already. But I know he takes like acid or he does like shrooms and stuff. He does crazy stuff off the freaking field. He's interesting to say the least. But he could. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, he could, but the
Should
offense
they?
of huh?
Should they even try? 4-8.
4-8. I mean, they're not out of contention. They'll have to finish I mean, they can't lose anymore to even like have a
4-7.
shot. They can't lose, and they have to. I mean, they just lost to the Bills. They have to play, or do they play Miami twice already, or do they play them again?
Um,
Let's look at the schedule. Let's see.
they lost the Dolphins. They let the pick six, the Hail Mary pick six.
Oh yeah, stupid man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
stupid.
4-7. My bad.
4-7. Okay, so at best 10-7, which 10-7 is a wild card.
Okay, you're asking a lot now.
Being if
No
Rodgers
way.
plays, but see, problem
Can't
is
move.
their line sucks. Their
And the
line is
line sucks. He
horrible.
can't move and his line sucks. That's stupid. If he
Yeah,
plays, it's a death wish.
but let's say hypothetically that he is healthy and does play this week. So they play you guys this week actually. If
Yeah.
Rodgers plays, they could win that game. Let's just but they
You
play
think
Houston.
first game back after a month off, you think he's gonna be? I want to do that. Me personally,
No,
no.
I think you got to save him, especially because I've been seeing stuff. They're all in and getting Devontae this offseason. Which honestly, if they want to give us some picks for him, I'm cool with that. He deserves better anyways than being with our sorry franchise. So
He
I think
picked it. That's on him.
yeah, he did, and that's one thing too. He did say straight up like
He
once
got
or
lied
two.
to though with Derek Carr and stuff. He did get lied to.
Yeah, the coach definitely pulled the fast one, but I mean, there's nothing you can really do. I mean, like, well, because I was looking like realizing like last year, so the year before the Raiders obviously went to the playoffs. That was the whole reason why we traded for Devontae because we were supposed to be really freaking good. And I was looking at Derek Carr's stats. He had the same exact touchdown and picks he did the year before. The difference is the Raiders had a coach, obviously, and they had a defense because their defense was ranked like 18th, which is like average, but they made the playoffs with it. Last year, they had one of the league's worst. So, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah, he did choose to come here. He like complained his way out too. Like he was like, "I'm not taking money. Trade me there, please." But
Yeah, and now
it
he's
is what it
there.
is.
He's upset every other game, slamming his helmet.
Yeah, sadly, I have this too. Hold on, give me a second. I bought this when you first got traded too. I bought this when
Uh,
you first got traded.
Put the thing
So
in the frame.
yeah, he's my guy. He's fun to watch. I can't lie. Like he's talented. Like, uh, well, I wouldn't say we're wasting his talent no more because even if he stayed with Green Bay,
Jordan Love, yeah.
actually, but who knows? Like I said, maybe Jordan Love would have been just as good as A-Rod. Maybe. I mean, it's Devontae Adams. You know, Jimmy G. Well, the beginning of the season they were throwing him the ball, and then once they started actually like losing, they just forgot about him. Which I don't know why you would do that. But anyways, yeah, they should save A-Rod and not play him because he's already old, and the fact that he's practicing less than what, like 2 months, like 2, 3 months is ridiculous. After tearing your Achilles is crazy at that age too, because he's not
Yeah.
young. We all know that he's not young at all, but he's doing some type of drug off the field to make him come back. So that's that. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But they're done. But I think they'll be I if they can change their line, if they can change their line. That's a big if too. Because I'm guessing you watch Hard Knocks, right?
Yep.
Because even at the beginning, the coach made it known like it's on you guys because we've been crap the last couple years on the offensive line, and because his line couldn't block, he got hurt. Not even at the end of the first possession, literally during. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, like like we talked about, it's that time where scenarios start forming, teams start to fall. Like this is where we really like teams get hot, like at this time of year, because it's December, and then some teams that are good start to fall, and then kind of look at the seeding scenarios. Teams are kind of like this is where they become the team. They figure out this is where the full chemistry comes in for the good teams. And this is where some teams shit the bed. So we'll just like I said, we'll have to see what happens and go from there. And then once playoffs come, we'll kind of start to figure out like who's gonna be a Super Bowl contender, like a real Super Bowl contender, and who's gonna be a first round exit and be a fraud. So I mean, the one team that comes to mind every year is Cowboys. No matter what they're right, they could go 17-0 now, and we'll still call them frauds. So
Yep. And Detroit got to prove it.
yeah, I mean, you guys are. I'm big on them, but so if I'm being real, they'll probably be a first round exit, and not because like they're frauds, but it's because it's their first time making the playoffs in like 10 years. So, well, who knows? I mean, their defense has gotten kind of exposed the last couple of weeks, so that will fix it. And their offense hasn't been the same. It's been a little rusty, and they got to go against Dallas soon too, which will be interesting.